What's good, family? It's your boy OJ, back at again with another video, and let's get straight to it. How you guys doing? I'm doing well. I'm just here to execute as I usually am, you feel me? But the most important thing is you're here and you're here to witness greatness, you know? One thing I wanted you guys to ask you, let me know if the lighting is good, shit, you feel me? It's my first time doing all this stuff. I gotta make sure we good and you can see me and I can see you, you feel me? And then peep the drip though, we getting better and better every single day. One thing I had to tell the people, bro, you don't gotta spend so much on jewelry, you don't have to spend so much on what's it called. It's all a step-by-step thing, you know? As you start growing through the tree and everything, now you can go crazy, you can start going ham, you can start looking fresh, you can start looking like OJ. And that's the number one thing. See, even the drip gotta be bulletproof. You know, let me do a little adjustment real quick. Yeah, now we doing it. But let me know if you see the lighting and the atmosphere, how you guys leave it in the comment section below. But let's get straight to it. This video, in most importance, it's about credit. Let's get straight to it. You know, we're gonna dive straight in, nose dive, you know. I know in the previous video I said that, oh, okay, boom, I don't consider myself a credit master or credit god or whatever the things people call themselves now on Twitter and on social media platforms. But I don't call myself or associate myself with that rhetoric, because one thing about credit is always a revolving topic. There's always some new information. So how can you possibly say that, oh, I know everything about credit? There's always some new information. There's always some studying you have to do. There's a lot of case studies, there's a lot of documents that you gotta unfold, you know? So I don't call myself that credit student, that credit master or whatever the case may be, you know? I'm learning the process as much as you are. See, the difference between me and you is that I'm further ahead as far as information. But if you would have just sat down and just do the research and tap in and then go hard as I do consistently, you know, then boom, you probably gonna be way ahead than me. It's all about are you willing to study more than you already know? Then not even that, even some people too, bro, like some people it's going to always be ahead of you, bro. It's just up to you to learn off of them. I know a lot of people, bro, no matter what you tell them, they don't want to learn. They don't want to tell, they don't want to just sit down and listen to the brief conversation. And that conversation might take you far as hell, bro. I had a lot of conversations where big bosses, people got money, etc. And I just sat there and soaked everything up like a sponge. Because I'm in nowhere in that position to go give this man advice when he is already where I always wanted to be in life, you know? So let's get straight to it. How did I start it? Well, let me show you one by one. By the way, this is the money bag right here. You feel me? How did I start it? Well, I started off with a store card. This is with Macy's. In particular, Macy's and all these store cards, I don't recommend everybody to have, these Macy's cards, these Dick's Sporting Goods cards, these Old Navy cards that, that were issued to, to retailers and then these stores and everything, these department stores. Because one, you can't do nothing with it. Only thing you do is buy clothes, buy the merchandise that's currently at the store. You can't manufacture spend, which I'm going to talk about in the whole separate video. You can't liquidate the money in any shape or form. You could just only buy merchandise that's currently at the store, and then pay the card off. That's pretty much it. That's all you can do. And that's how people end up staying in debt. They have all these store cards, all these Macy's cards, all these gas cards, and I'm not gonna speak too much about gas cards, because gas cards do help. I'm gonna get more into that. But it's just, we're using these credit cards just to create wealth by buying the assets instead of using these credit cards to buy unnecessary things. Now, OJ, can I buy gas? Of course you can. Now, OJ, can I buy toilet paper? Of course you can. During the pandemic, you guys were doing that the most, buying toilet paper. But the thing is, instead of being the consumer, start thinking about being more of a producer. Okay, what do I mean by that? Say if I have a credit card that have a $3,000, $6,000 limit in it. It only takes $15,000, you know, bear with me, just to start a Amazon store. Now, of course, you have to find the information, which I'm gonna provide for you. But stuff like that is easy to pay for assets than pay for liabilities. Bills are good to paying off. You know, you got a ticket, you got to pay out, you got to put your credit card, pay it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's best to use credit cards just to get you further ahead of what you got. Like, for example, boom, OJ, can I spend the credit cards to get a hedge fund? Yeah, of course. But it has to go hand in hand. Do you know technical analysis? Can you study the markets? Do you know what a bear market is? Do you know what a bull market is? All this information is very key to your success. So, like I said, back to what I was talking about, I started off with a Macy's card. With the Macy's card, at the time it was like a $500 limit on it, and I was like, okay, you know, my mom wanted to put me on stuff like that, you know, start building my credit. For her, bless my mom. She knew the power of authorized users, so she put me as an authorized user. So everything that was on her credit, I automatically had it at the time. I had her age, but I didn't have the score yet. As far as the score, her score wasn't great yet, but I had her limits at the time. So I was using the cards. I was buying the clothes, buying the drip, buying the jewelry, you name it, and just going around doing my thing, doing my little thing. Then I would pay the card off, which would help my credit. But then as I started learning information, that cards like this are not the ones you're supposed to be going for. Because yeah, as far as like, okay, you can use it to buy clothes, but that's just more, like I said, that's all you can do with it. You know, you can't leverage it, you can't spend it on any other thing. Now, okay, boom, step number 2, where did I end up going? Okay, now I end up getting my Capital One at the time. Boom, my Capital One. So with this Capital One, I believe it was I started off with a $300 limit on it. And I would just use the card, pay it off, use the card, pay it off. The same moment I use the card, I will pay it off on the spot. I would not let the due date run out. So from there, and this is before I even knew anything about credit. This is, mind you, I just graduated from this card, and then move on to this card. So as I moved on to the next level. The bank started being like, oh, okay, you can handle a $300 limit, fine, no problem. We're gonna give you a $750 limit. Did the same thing with the $750, but that process took longer. See, why did I say that? When it comes to credit limit increases, basically, when I was working a job, the job was not paying me well. When I was working that job, currently, they wasn't paying me as much for me to fully pay off the card. Then I end up finding out that, oh, okay, yes, I have a due date, but I also have a statement date. So, okay, what's the difference between a due date and a statement date? And I'm gonna just explain that real quick. A due date is like, okay, that's like saying, for example, I'm gonna just use the streets. Okay, I lent you $700, right? And I told you by this date, I need this money back, right? But then there's another date. There's an actual date that I'm actually gonna tell the bureaus that, okay, he paid the balance full or he did not. So me knowing the game so well, what I did, I basically put on a down payment. So when the due date will come in, say if I owe $750, all right, boom, I'll pay $100 on the due date. Matter of fact, 2 days early on the due date to make myself look good. Then on the statement date, I will pay the whole balance off. And from there, the bank saw that they could trust me with bigger limits, and I started going step by step. I started climbing up the ranks. I started moving forward. And I moved from 750 to 1,000. Now that one, the 1,000. Now that's where I had to understand that now I gotta start using the credit cards as assets, such as my podcast, TND Worldwide. What does TND Worldwide stands for? Trappers Next Door, meaning that, okay, the neighbors next door, you don't know what they know. You don't know what they know. I'm just explaining that. You don't know the information they have. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is pay up to get the sauce. Before you get put on, you gotta pay the fare. It's like getting on the jitney. It's like getting on the a metro bus. By the way, in my hood, a jitney is basically like a mini bus, but like majority of the time it's like Caribbean people drive it, meaning Haitians at the time. We have our own bus service, and it's pretty cool. But get back on topic. I knew that, okay, now I gotta start working on buying assets, but I didn't know where to put my money. I didn't know where to set my money at. Yeah, I could have gone to the stock market because I had information on the stock market, but I would lose more. I was afraid of losing more than gaining, because at the end of the day, I still had to pay that credit card back. So, all right. From there, times went by. I kept on paying bills and everything, paying the card back. So then I believe I moved from my Capital One to all the way to my Discover. One thing about Discover, they're a good bank. It's just that they're very strict on fraud. They hate scammers whatsoever. They do not play when it comes to scammers, bro. Like, if you make a certain purchase and it don't look right, bro, like if it's a big purchase especially and it don't look like, they'll shut everything down just like that. And then you have to call them less than 24 hours just to go get your whole account available just for funds and everything, just to go do your regular commute, which is good. I don't have to worry about, if I lose that card, oh my god, it's the bank's money. The thing about it with the bank's money is there's two differences. See, with a debit card and a credit card, there's two different things. Let me explain it again. With a debit card, like I said before in the previous video, it's microchipped, so they can track your every location, your every move. You didn't know that. But with the debit card, the bank takes money off of your checking account just to loan it out to other people. How do you think they use these credit cards just to fund your account, not checking account, but the credit account? So boom, basically this money maybe I'm just saying came from somebody's checking account. So it gets it gets deeper than that, but there's we're gonna get another video, we're gonna talk more about that as well. So from there I figured out that debit cards, like I said in the previous video again, debit cards are the single most worst tool you can always use, because now you're using your own money just to fund expenses, and after you use your own money just to buy these things, now you assed out. Now you gotta wait till the next paycheck from your job just to re-up and keep going, when you could have simply used the bank's money and then pay it on time by putting the down payment on the due date. Then on the statement they pay the full balance, and then now they're gonna tell the bureaus what a great borrower you are, because that's what you are, a great borrower. And he just invested it on a business. Now you got business credit, and then all these stuffs, planes, even just merely just eating at a restaurant is a tax write-off. I can go on and on and on, but we got more videos, so bear with me. So at the time when I used my Discover card, I had a $1,000 limit, then moved to $2,000 to $2,500 and so forth. So with those cards and everything, I was like, bro, now it's time for me to start building assets. So little by little, I started building up certain skills: tax preparation, stock options. From stock options, I went to crypto. From crypto, I went to Forex, all these other things. But those were things that, like, I'd say not side hustle with, but it's just like more, okay, they're just something that adds on to the sauce, Okay, obviously I saw credit repair, and then I instantly fell in love. because I wanted to understand what was credit, why do we use credit, and then what can I use it for. One thing about credit is, shoot, even our own government uses credit. Basically, the Federal Reserve, they'll grab money, because remember, their money nowadays, the U.S. money, it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold, it's not backed by silver, it's not backed by anything. It's just a promissory note. So, they just literally, basically grab money with no value and buy assets with it. And then that's why it says that, okay, we in 32 trillion dollars in debt. And you like, damn, who the hell we owe these money to? The Decepticons or some shit? Like, do we owe aliens money or something? No, it's other companies and other banks and other countries as well. Because a lot of the money we pull from them and then just go buy assets for them, you know? Because now the more we borrow, the bigger limit you have, you know? So now the U.S. could damn near borrow $1 trillion and then go ahead and spend it on all type of stuff and everything and not worry about nothing else afterwards. We're going to get more into that. So after my Discover card, I went to the Apple card. Now this card, everybody's been seeing this around like, damn bro, I want that Apple card. That shit looks sexy. But let's be honest, the only reason why you want to buy an Apple card, want an Apple card is because you want to get the Apple products and everything. The iPhone, Apple Watch, I got all the, you name it, I got everything else. But it's not more than that. One thing about Apple, they have the cash back. Same thing with Discover, they got the cash back too, but it's not like major. Until you start buying some major assets, which one, like I said, as soon as you buy the assets, you get rewarded by getting the cash points. And the cash back points you can use just to pay your balance off little by little on your credit card, on your credit balance, you know, which makes you even look better. Or you could just pocket the cash yourself, you know, by doing a direct deposit linked to your account. Boom, now you got the cash back money, which is like what, $100. It depends on what you spend, and it depends if the bank has, is linked with the product that you buy, which is like, for example, an Apple laptop. Now you got like, okay, you have thousands of points because you damn near spent $6,000 on Apple products. You get what I'm saying? It goes deeper and deeper. Another thing people gotta understand is with the Apple card and everything, Apple is not necessarily a bank. It's more like a partnership with Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is a separate bank that did a partnership with Apple. So people are like, damn, Apple is a bank now? No, they're not a bank. It's just that now they did a partnership with a real bank, and then now, okay, boom, they making a little bit of money on the back end from y'all messing up. You feel me? Because now you guys get these credit cards thinking that, oh, I'm finna scam, crack these credit cards. You gotta understand, banks never lose. Banks never lose. While you're scamming and everything, your mom and dad is still paying that mortgage to the house. And at the end of the day, you're not giving the bank is not giving you a mortgage, you're giving a bank mortgage. A mortgage simply means I promise to death that I'll pay the car back. I'll pay the house back. I'll pay all the money that you gave me just to go buy that house. Because at the end of the day, they're taking stuff from you and you don't even realize it. So let's get more into this. Okay, alright, but OJ, I got a 700 credit score, I got 800 credit score, and they still said I didn't get approved by anything. Well, you gotta understand, the score doesn't mean anything. I can tell you right now I have an 800 credit score, and someone who has more experience in credit would just look at me like, okay, what does your credit history look like? What does the credit profile looks like? Do you have 100% payment? Do you have no derogatories? Meaning, do you have anything in collections that you owe to the banks or any dealership? Do you have what is your age? How many accounts you have? All these things play important factors to the exact credit score you have. See, that person with 800 credit score the score is good, but your history is terrible. You have 2-3 things in collections, that you got to remove. there's a difference between a guy with a 7-something credit score, 730, 780 credit score, when the guy, you know, he's in position, but you have an 800 credit score and you have nothing to show for it on your credit report. You got 800, but you cannot get anything because the history behind the information, the documents behind the score doesn't support the 800 credit score that you currently have. So I recommend everybody don't focus too much on the score. Focus more on what you have behind the score to support you. It's just the foundation, you know? Start with the foundation first. Don't start with the accounts, you know? Because now when people start get focused on the accounts, they go around and applying for all these credit cards. Don't get approved, and then you get all these hard inquiries. Now you have to go try to get inquiries removed, you know? Now from there, to continue, I went from the Apple card to the Self card. I believe it was the Self card. Self is a tier 4 credit card. You know, there's different tiers in credit cards. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. Tier 4 credit cards, meaning that, bro, these credit cards are crap, because when you are done paying, because basically what I did, I was trying to build credit, which was, okay, this is the fastest way to build credit. But like I said, it's the credit profile that matters. Then with a Self credit card, you can't ask for a credit limit increase. You still got to use your money just to get that credit limit increase. Okay, but what you mean I have to use my money again? After, you have to pay money. After you pay money, then they give you a fixed balance on all the money that you put inside the account. Then they report to the bureaus that you have, okay, you have 1,300, 1,800 in your credit report. But guess what? Now, when you feel like you want to boss up to the next level, you can't do that. What you have to do is you have to set up another account again and pay money just to get your limits up on one credit card, you know? Which I see it as a waste of time, when you could have got something like, you know, an Amex, and then you could have just gone your way. All these things play important factors. And the thing is, I'm going to make a part 2 on credit cards for everybody to more fully understand it. Shit, this probably going to be a part 5, 6, 7, 8 on credit cards. And then from there, we're going to bring more. Matter of fact, we're going to bring all my mentors that actually taught me the credit game. We're going to get you a full incentive, a full diagnostic on your credit as well. All these takes time. But as we keep going and being consistent in this path of success, you're gonna be grateful about it. You know, one thing, if you can't stay consistent, stay motivated, because now it's gonna push you to keep going on your path. That's one thing I learned throughout my journey. You already know, it's your brother OJ, and I got you with part 2, part 3, and shit, part 1,000,000 if we have to, because like I said, with credit, there's so much information.
Sheesh. Ay, these Chanel's on my feet. Right and left through the street.